So let's talk about Zimbabwe. Before it was Zimbabwe, it was a British colony called Southern Rhodesia. Now picture this, a small group of white settlers, making up maybe 5% of the population, owned most of the best land. They also ran the entire country, the economy, everything. The majority black African population was pushed onto less fertile land, had limited access to education, and faced systemic discrimination in jobs and housing. It was a classic colonial setup, designed to benefit the few at the expense of the many. This wasn't just unfair, it was a pressure cooker waiting to explode. The people were denied basic rights in the land of their birth, and that kind of situation never ever lasts. This frustration had been building for decades. By the 1960s, African nationalist movements started gaining steam, demanding a say in their own future. They wanted majority rule, simple as that. But the white minority government wasn't having any of it. In 1965, things got even more intense. The Prime Minister, a guy named Ian Smith, made a bold and frankly quite audacious move. He issued a Unilateral Declaration of Independence, or UDI. Basically, he declared Rhodesia independent from Britain, but under continued white minority rule. He was trying to prevent black majority rule from ever happening. This act was a slap in the face to the black population and the international community, setting the stage for a full-blown conflict. The UDI was the final straw. For the African nationalist leaders, it became crystal clear that peaceful negotiations and diplomacy were going nowhere. The Rhodesian government had just slammed the door on any possibility of a fair democratic transition. Their only remaining option, as they saw it, was to take up arms and fight for their freedom. This decision marked the beginning of what is known in Zimbabwe as the Second Chimurenga, or the War of Liberation. It was a declaration that they would no longer accept being second-class citizens in their own country, and were prepared to pay the ultimate price for their independence and dignity. So, the war didn't just appear out of thin air. It was the result of nearly a century of colonial oppression, land theft, and racial segregation. It was a fight against a system that was fundamentally unjust. The goal was straightforward: to dismantle the white minority regime and establish a new nation based on the principle of one person, one vote. The people wanted to reclaim their land, their identity, and their right to self-determination. The stage was set for a long and brutal war that would reshape the future of the nation and the entire region of southern Africa. In one corner, you had the Rhodesian government, led by the unyielding Ian Smith. His administration was determined to maintain white minority rule at all costs. They had a well-equipped and professionally trained military, the Rhodesian Security Forces, which included the army and a notoriously effective air force. They believed they were defending their way of life and civilization from what they saw as communist-backed terrorism.